Tracy Brabin, the Chancellor, says he's sending you a really big wad. You must be pretty cheerful this morning.
Well, good morning, Trevor. Yes, it is good news, and certainly I'm pleased that governments are chiming with us about our ambitions for our region. But as you heard from Rachel earlier in your programme, this is only one part of the jigsaw. We can't talk about levelling up if we don't talk about another rail line, the Northern Powerhouse Rail, that will have that stop at St James's in Bradford. Bradford is one of the youngest cities in the whole country. We want to connect those young people to jobs and opportunities. But of course, HS2, we've had briefings and counter briefings and rumours. We absolutely need to know that that is going to happen. We need that new station in Leeds. Leeds already is at capacity. We have the land allocated. We have the ambition for it. We're ready to deliver as Labour mayors. And I'm glad government see the opportunity, and we're happy to work with them.
Well, I don't know if you heard my interview with the Chancellor earlier, Tracy Brabin, but when I asked him about the stop in Bradford and the extension to Leeds, he was, at best, I would say, enigmatic. He didn't embrace the opportunity to say, yes, and of course, look out for an announcement on that. Not really that good news.
Well, we've been waiting for the integrated rail plan, as you heard from the Chancellor, for quite some time. I've been pressing for more information, but I was at the Global Investment Summit only last week and heard the Prime Minister talk specifically about Northern Powerhouse Rail. But what's important for us is that stop in Bradford. We can't have a watered-down version of our transport network. Here in West Yorkshire, we have had £174 per head spent on transport. In London, it's over £500. We have less per head than any other community across the country. We've been underfunded for decades. Now is the opportunity for government to be bold, to be ambitious, to come with us, with our vision for West Yorkshire, to have that London-style transport system that will really make us that powerhouse we can be.
So you rather share Rachel Reeves' scepticism that says this is an announcement, but we're not seeing delivery yet.
Well, we're still waiting for the detail. I think there is tension potentially between number 10 and number 11, between maybe what the Prime Minister wants to see and what Rishi Sunak thinks that he can afford. But actually, it's going to cost us all not to deliver a gold-plated 5-star transport system for West Yorkshire.
Can I ask about another aspect of the spending programme, the skills proposal? There's a lot of money going to be spent on skills, and I guess some of it will go to your towns, your FE colleges and so on. But do you worry that you will be training people in Bradford and Wakefield just so that they can hop on a new rail line, if you get it, to work in Manchester?
No, that's not necessarily the whole picture, because when it comes to skills, obviously, we want young people to choose their first choice of college and not have to choose their third because they can't get to their first because there's poor transport. But what's been really interesting regarding skills, obviously it's going to be in the detail, but the government are talking about T-levels in particular, but having spent time with college principals only a couple of weeks ago, I was hearing how tricky that is with T-levels to get the right businesses, to get businesses to come on board with T-levels. I really do believe apprenticeships are the way to genuinely level up. But it is a part of a holistic picture, Trevor, that you can't level up just with skills alone. Of course, they're important. You have to have that transport system to get people to those opportunities to learning.
When we think about apprenticeships, actually, the picture hasn't been that fantastic, has it? I mean, we know that a lot of businesses, it is estimated that something like 5,000 big businesses didn't take up their full entitlement under the apprenticeship levy, and that £400 million worth of apprenticeship levy money simply expired because you can't, if you don't use it, you lose it. Is there anything that you think we need to do with the apprenticeship programme to make it more user-friendly so more people can get onto it? Because otherwise, it's a lot of noise without much substance, isn't it?
I absolutely agree. And having had a meeting with the CEO of Ocado a couple of years ago when I was the Member of Parliament for Batley and Spen, they pay the levy, they can't recruit. This is not right. And that's why I'm really pleased across West Yorkshire we support businesses to share that apprenticeship levy, to make sure that those smaller SMEs can get the talented apprentices that they need in order to expand. But I would also say, having visited a really brilliant local company that's in aerospace, Produmax, only a couple of weeks ago, talking about apprentices, it's really important that we make sure that those from Black, Asian and minority ethnic backgrounds also get that opportunity to get an apprenticeship with a really fantastic company. That's my approach as the Mayor. We have some powers over skills, and I was able to launch a £6 million programme to have modular skills offer for those people who've been made redundant after furlough, or young people who've not been able to just get started after COVID, so that they can do shorter programmes. Because there are some challenges to full-time programmes when people have to pay their bills and earn a living. So it's really an exciting time for West Yorkshire. Finally, we have devolution. I'm 6 months into the job, but it's a point that now we're able to deliver. Obviously, we want to work with government to help them deliver on their levelling up ambitions, and we're here and we're ready to do it.
Can I turn to the other big story of the day, as it is pretty much every week, and that is COVID. The Health Secretary this week came on a bit like school headmaster and said that if we didn't do better on mask wearing and so on, then we'd all be back in detention. What's the mood in West Yorkshire?
Well, it is a really troubling time. Let's not forget that West Yorkshire has been in restrictions for most of the 18 months. Our businesses and our high streets have really suffered. So many people have lost so much over these last awful 18 months. It's troubling looking at the next few months. I was able, with my limited powers, to be able to mandate for mask wearing in bus stations. Obviously, Sadiq Khan has different powers. He could say across all of transport, mask wearing to be a priority and to be mandated. We will be working with councils to find the best way towards Christmas. But of course, let's not forget, it was councils that really supported us during the last few months, whether that was testing, tracking and tracing, finding laptops for kids that didn't have tech, rolling out the vaccination programme. This is Labour councils, particularly in West Yorkshire, that have delivered for their community. And I know will continue to do so and to try and keep people safe.
Tracy Brabin, politics has been consumed in the last week, if I may raise this, with the aftermath of the death of David Amess, and you yourself obviously have been close to this issue. What's your take, if I may ask for 30 seconds? Does politics need to be kinder and gentler?
Well, of course, and you'll know how I came into Parliament, that terrible tragedy when we lost Joe Cox. I said to my family, who were worried when I took up the role, it was a once-in-a-lifetime lightning strike. It would never happen again. And sadly, here we are 5 years later. Of course, politics has to be kinder. We need to also provide mental health support in our communities. People have suffered a lot. We need to make sure that there is provision to help those people who are feeling angry and frustrated. Obviously, Sir David Amess is a fine human, and certainly he was very kind to me when I was a Member of Parliament and an inveterate letter writer. I had a number of letters from him. But it's an awful time, and obviously we need to do more, and I'm really pleased that my colleagues in Westminster are taking up the mantle to make sure that we can, certainly in the online space with the online Bill's White Paper, online harms white paper, that we can make sure that there is legislation to protect people.